Thanks for joining us. I'm Judy Simpson. We make decisions every day, from choosing what to eat to what clothes we wear. Among the biggest decisions we make, or don't make, are decisions about our health. To many people, it seems too early to talk about advanced planning for our health until it's too late. So today, let's have a conversation about advanced planning. Joining me are two doctors from the Larner College of Medicine at UVM. Dr. Zale Berry specializes in hospice and palliative care, and Dr. Marie Sandoval is an adult primary care specialist. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Let's start out talking about what an initiative called Who's Your Person, What's Your Plan, and what the project is all about.
It's a project of a number of organizations coming together with very interest in helping improve health care for people, and most importantly, to make sure that the health care people receive is actually what they want. And so this is the Who's Your Person, What's Your Plan is exactly what the move is for people to think, if I can't decide for myself, who is it I want to decide for me? And if I do get into a bad spot from an illness or injury, what is it that I would want? What would be most important to me?
So what organizations are involved?
We have a large collaborative of a number of organizations, and I know you have a screen in front of you to see those. And what you can see is that these are folks who are part of providing health care in a number of circumstances, but they're also folks who are advocating for people as they age and as they encounter illness and injury.
And so, as you see, there's a wide variety of folks who are involved in the healthcare industry who are taking part in this. Now, how long has this been underway?
It's been about 2 years that this group has come together and is focusing both on engaging individuals, but also engaging businesses in trying to get businesses involved in helping their employees.
Why is that important?
Well, I think what we've noticed is we're able to talk with patients actually in the office, but we're missing that community experience and starting that conversation outside of the medical environment. And we have a lot of folks that just aren't getting care on a regular basis, or they don't think that it's the time for them to start making these decisions. But what we've realized is, as an adult, we really want to start making at least that first decision, and getting out to the community is where we've had the most opportunity.
And so talk a little bit about why you and your partners decided to launch Who's Your Person and What's Your Plan?
We have seen the rates of healthcare agent appointment, meaning somebody saying who they want to make decisions, kind of stagnate. And every time there's something in the news, like Terry Schiavo, where there was a battle in her family over what would happen to her, you see the rates go up just a little bit, but we're still far below what would be ideal. The fact of the matter is that any one of us could have a sudden injury or illness that would make us unable to make decisions for themselves, and most people would really want to be deciding themselves about what happens to them and what kind of care they get.
And while you're thinking about yourself, it's also important to think about your family, because if you don't make the decisions, then it's up to your family.
Right. And I think what we realized often is these decisions are being made when it's too late. And so families are having someone have an accident and that person is incapacitated, and everyone's getting together in a really emotional, awful circumstance and trying to figure out what mom or dad or their sister would have wanted, and also trying to decide who knows best. And so now we're trying to have that conversation happen and those decisions being made before that event occurs.
And that impact on the family is worth underlining, because you know, when illness or injury strikes, it's so hard on everybody, the patient as well as the family. And you know, we know from research that when a family has information about what the person wanted, when they've clearly appointed who they want to speak for them, and they've outlined or at least made their values clear about what's important to them, that helps the family so much. We know it reduces the stress of the situation, which is already extremely stressful, and it also helps if the worst happens and that person passes away. People do much better in bereavement when they know they've been able to carry out what that person wanted.
Well, if you're, going through the trauma of having someone injured or, some life-threatening issue, you don't want to have to make big decisions under those circumstances.
Right.
And so tell me a little bit about advanced care planning.
Well, we think about it as a pyramid. The bottom of the pyramid is for everybody. Who, once you're 18, who would you want to speak for you if you couldn't speak for yourself? And that should be somebody that you trust to know your values and to be able to advocate to be able to consider the itsy-bitsy details of that situation and make a judgment about what it would be that you would want. And so everybody needs that because accidents happen. The next step on the pyramid...
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, one thing that's important in the state of Vermont is we don't have what's called a designated proxy or a designated healthcare agent person. So that means that even here, your spouse would not be your designated person, so it's even more important in our state.
So your next of kin isn't automatically assumed to be.
It's really helpful to know that here it's even more important for us to designate that person. So,
and that person's called a healthcare agent.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yep.
Healthcare agent.
And so you brought along a short video from Who's Your Person, What's Your Plan initiative. And the video reveals what many people know about advanced planning, but few take steps to actually make it happen. So let's take a look at that. So we've been talking about a healthcare agent. That's really the first step. Let's go through the steps, all three steps.
So that first step, as you said, is to appoint the healthcare agent. The second step is for people who have either have a chronic disease or who just have strong feelings about what they would or would not want for healthcare in a given situation. So that's a longer form that allows you to state what things are important to you and what you would want to be considered in certain circumstances. For most active...
What's your plan?
Yeah, that's the what's your plan part. Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. And that's appropriate, again, for people, you know, who have a condition where maybe they don't know exactly what's going to happen. For most young, healthy people, we have no idea what would happen. So thinking about, you know, injury is sort of a way, if somebody had specific ideas about what they want, they could put that in writing, but they don't need to. They don't have to make those decisions before they're ready. And then the tip of the pyramid are folks who have a life-threatening condition or a chronic illness that they know is probably going to be the cause of their death at some point. And that's when they really work with their physician to talk about what situations will I face in the future? How, you know, what kinds of trade-offs might I be looking at, so that they can really, in a very concrete and specific way, designate what they would want, how they would want advanced technologies used or not used.
Also, too, in the literature, I was looking at the webpage, it also says it helps reduce costs.
It does. We know that aggressive care to keep people alive is expensive, and it's also burdensome. And when people are actually given the choice, not all, certainly, but there are significant numbers of people who really choose something that's less burdensome, which happens to also cost less.
And as a matter of fact, I spent just a couple of minutes going to the website, Vermont Ethics Network, and I printed off the forms, and it couldn't have been easier. So now I've got two copies. I'll take them home and we'll fill them out. We'll know where we put them. And tell the kids where they are, so that, you know, everything is down. There's no guesswork. No one has to make any crazy decisions when something happens.
The other thing you can do is have that healthcare agent form and your advance directive registered in the Vermont registry. So there's just one more form that gives you permission, gives them permission to hold that for you.
Okay, so fill it out online, but then also print out a copy and have a hard copy.
Yes, but there will be a permission that you give to put this in the registry, and that means that anyone across the country could get into that registry if you had a car accident in Arizona. That the hospital would be able to reach your advance directive, know who your person is, and any directives that were there.
And hospitals are required, here our hospitals required to search to see if you have a document that's been registered with the state.
As physicians, can you talk a little bit about your professional experience with advanced care planning and why you think this is so important, Marie?
Oh my goodness. We've been doing this in my office for over 2 years now, and what I really love about it is patients are very comfortable with making their decision about their healthcare agent. And now they're coming in with those other questions. Help me make my plan. And even more importantly, I'm having the conversations with patients who are older or more seasoned, as I say, and they tell me, you know, if I pass away, I don't want to be resuscitated. Help me make that not happen. And so they're really excited about making sure that that plan is very clear for their families and feel like they've put so much effort into that.
Because once again, you can have the conversation, but when things are starting to happen and emotions are involved, it's easy to say, well, no, let's wait a while before we make these kinds of decisions.
The other side of this from the physician angle is that because a lot of treatments that we do to people are burdensome, sometimes when we know the chance of success with it is very low, it's very heart-wrenching to do things to people that we know are really at a tremendous physical and emotional cost for the patient. And when I have an advance directive that says I want everything done no matter what the burden, it's a lot easier to care for somebody knowing that I am doing what they want. And I think that that's truly healthcare professionals of all kinds, we are there to serve the patient and their values. And when we have clarity about what those values are, there's even greater professional satisfaction.
So how can viewers find out about appointing a healthcare agent and advanced directives?
I'm sorry?
How can people find out more about?
There's a wonderful website called takingstepsvt.org. And there's more information about really everything we've talked about, as well as links to the forms they can actually just print out and sign. The forms need to be witnessed by somebody who's not a family member, so it's a great thing to do with coworkers or neighbors. And
no fee involved. You don't have to see your lawyer to have it done.
Terrific. Well, I want to thank you both for joining us and having this important conversation.
Thanks so much.
That's our program for today. I'm Judy Simpson. I'll see you again next time on Across the Fence.